and that is the Packers rookies, Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. You guys know there's a lot of expectations that are kind of coming out about these two draft picks, one being in the first round, the other being in the third. I'm going to read a quick little article, kind of give you the hook here, let you know what's going on. And really what we're going to talk about is Packers rookie predictions for 2025. Will Golden and Williams surpass expectations? We've hit on this a little bit. We've had Jacob pull the DraftKings projections and all that stuff, but we're just going to kind of dive into it a little more detail tonight. And let's see what we come away with here. All right, the Green Bay Packers added fear to their offense with first-round pick Matthew Golden's 4.29 40-yard dash speed, reshaping how defenses face Jordan Love. They also drafted Savion Williams, a 6'4", 222-pound hybrid compared to Deebo Samuel. The hop is huge, but what will they do in 2025? We'll use stats, college film, and historical trends to predict their rookie impact. All right, let's break it down here. A new era for the Packers offense. Packers receivers, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and Dontavion Wicks have potential but lack a true game changer. Drafting Matthew Golden 23rd overall signals a shift to dominance. His speed stretches defenses, while third-rounder Savion Williams, a versatile hybrid, creates chaos. With Watson recovering from an ACL tear, these rookies have a chance to shine. The question now, how elite can this offense be? How are we feeling about it, gents? We'll go around the horn here. Once we'll start with you, Jacob. How do you think these two rookies are going to impact before we dive into some of the numbers and projections that we had pulled here for this article?
Sure. I mean, honestly, I don't know how to word it. I don't necessarily know what I feel about Golden, just because I honestly wasn't that high on him, if I'm being 100% putting the cards on the table. I didn't honestly think he was going to fall to us, and I didn't think we were going to make that pick. I just didn't think it was going to happen. So it was one of those things where it was kind of surreal. And now that I've looked back at it and actually looked at some of his tape and really seen the guy, he seems to be a very complete receiver. And I think that's going to do wonders because, since we've not had Devontae Adams, I don't know if you could call anybody that we've had a true X. I mean, I remember on this podcast, even at one point we were arguing whether or not Alan Lazard was going to be our true X. You know what I mean? That's how far we go back, dude. And I think I was one of the guys that said, yeah, probably it could happen. And
this receiving it's tough.
Exactly, Brett. I have a lot of hopes for him. I'm just a little bit maybe muffled in how much excitement I have, because just the way that they usually use rookies in Green Bay is just not letting them burst right out and do their thing. I thought, Edger and Cooper, even a guy like that was so clearly capable. Like he took a while to even see the show. But on offense, I will say one more thing quick, and I'll kick it over to Tim, is that I really am more excited about maybe Savion Williams and what they're going to do with him. I think that they may be keeping him as kind of like an underground kind of, like, I think they may use him more than we're given credit at this moment. And he is a very unique individual. I mean, you watch his TCU tape, there's not much this dude literally can't do. I'm talking quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I mean, shoot, put him at long snapper. Let's save him in a spot on the 53.
Well, you just got too old for this.
I know.
My God, he's fired up now. Tim, what do you think, man?
I think it's the tale of two receivers. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about, but let's be real. You got Savion Williams, who was a receiver that was used as, pretty much everything else the whole time he was playing at TCU. And then you've got Matt Golden, who didn't have a quarterback, most of the tape that we saw of him. So I think it comes down to the fact that we should be excited about them. I think they're both going to contribute in their own ways. And I think they will make an impact as rookies. It's just to what level, are they going to impact this offense? And really, it's all about where they fit in Matt's scheme and what we're trying to do, and how he's able to get them on the field and utilize them. These guys are making the team, right? So we're talking about whittling that receiver room down. I would fully anticipate if they're going to, take roster spots, they're going to take some snaps too. So I think it's just a matter of time, and we just got to see how they develop as pros. I'm kind of leaning towards Jacob's camp here. I'm a little bit slightly more excited about Savion Williams. Hey, but I do think Matthew Golden's going to be a star in this league. My big question mark is Savion with that shoulder, that nagging shoulder issue that's been kind of bugging him. kept him out of the Senior Bowl, and it still is an issue throughout OTA's minicamp. So hopefully,
is he wearing a sling right there, Tim?
Yeah,
is that what I
looks
see?
like it. He's had a harness on for a while, so hopefully that goes away. Maybe it's gone just in time for training camp or something, right? And we can really see him get out there and cut it loose. So a lot to be excited about, though.
Let's go to the chat here. Ed Madden said, Golden is smooth, and I haven't seen him turn on the speed yet. That's the thing. Not many people seen him turn on the speed at Texas because poor Quinn Ewers he wasn't dropping that thing in the bucket. He was leaving it about 6 yards short every single time, right? 2-0 for this says, is that AFAM carrying the towels back there? And then Respect Orange says AFAM's in charge of the jock straps.
Oh, we're going to give him some
2-0 for this says, I was fired up seeing Ed Policy in the Legacy doc, now mentioning Savion at long snapper. Boy, is this real life? Hey, welcome to heaven, baby. Welcome to heaven. And then Ed Madden points out, Savion was a quarterback in high school. Will have the FBI. It's a great point, man. I think of people like Julian Edelman, who went on to be a borderline Hall of Fame wide receiver who played quarterback in college, right? For I think it was Kent State, maybe. So
we know Matt's not afraid to dial up a little razzle dazzle, right?
Oh no!
Hopefully it's just not on 4th and 1 or something.
And you guys, you know what? I kind of have to correct myself because I said they're not going to give a rookie wide receiver that much maybe shot. But I remember back, remember Christian Watson's first snap, Aaron Rodgers long bomb down the right sideline, hits him in the breadbasket. And Christian, unfortunately, drops it. And that was kind of the start of a really rough, career there. And it's interesting. Imagine it. I always think, imagine if he catches that ball, dude.
Oh, my God. It's
the hype, the confidence.
Everything that happened for Christian Watson during and after the Cowboys game where he just went off, that would have happened week 1, right? Yeah, and that's what Aaron Rodgers talked about. He was the perfect case study of how one play can completely change the trajectory of somebody's career for sure. Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat says, I'm excited about Golden for sure. Smooth route runner, can get separation in right off the line. Quarterback's best friend. Amen to that. It says a new era for the Packers offense. The Packers receivers, Christian Watson. We hit that one, didn't we? Yep. The game breaker, Matthew Golden. Let's dive into that. First rounder, Matthew Golden is a deep threat weapon with 4.29 speed, built to blow past defenses. Offensive coordinator Adam Stanovich is thrilled as Golden fills the, quote, Z receiver role, especially with Watson's injury. He's not a high-volume target like Devontae Adams, but a home run hitter for 40-yard bombs. In 2024, Reed, Dobbs, and Wicks saw 72 to 76 targets each. Watson had 53, but he did have a 21.4 yards per catch. Golden's role will yield big yards per reception. So what we're anticipating here is for Matthew Golden to step right into Christian Watson's role at the Z. You're still going to have Jaden Reed playing the F, which is essentially the slot. And then you're going to have Wicks, where you're going to have Romeo Dobbs in the X if he doesn't get traded, right? And then you'll have Wicks rotating in and out of the X and the F as need be. Now, we've seen some of Bo Melton in the slot last year as well when Reed came off the field. So you'll probably to me, it feels like Wicks is next man up for X and slot. And then it goes on to Bo Melton. But Malik Heath may have something to say with that. Now we got Savion Williams, which we'll get to here in just a second. In terms of PFF grades, what you're seeing with Matthew Golden throughout the season, we'll just go week 1 to the playoff loss there to Ohio State. 75, 66, 67, 62, 67, 54, 59, 56, 69, 59. And then listen to this trend right here. He's trending up at the end of the year. 59, 69, 68, 55, 70, 88 at Arizona State, and then a 74 in the playoff game against Ohio State. Now, when you see that PFF grade against Georgia there of a 70.9 in the conference championship down there in the SEC championship, go watch that game. If I were to give you guys one game to say, if you want to see what Matthew Golden can do, big game situation, go watch Texas lose to Georgia in that conference championship and just look how the only thing that was working for Texas was Matthew Golden. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun to watch that game for sure. Now, his season grades, when we're talking about an ascending player coming into the league, starting in 2022 and 2023 with Houston, 65, then he jumps to a 68, and then the year that he transferred to Texas, he jumps all the way to a 74. So you got a player who's getting better as he enters the league. Let's get to the predictions now. AI predicts Matthew Golden's 2025 rookie season. Targets, 55 to 70 targets, 28 to 40 catches, 550 to 700 yards, 18 to 22 yards per catch, and touchdowns somewhere between the 4 to 6 range. A 620-yard, 5-touchdown season will be solid for a rookie deep threat per analyst. I know we kind of talked about those numbers with DraftKings the other day, Jacob. What do you think about those numbers, man? If he hits 620 yards, 5 touchdowns, man, that sounds like a hell of a rookie season to me.
Yeah. Those honestly feel a little bit south of what I would project him with as well. I really do think like at Ed Madden 2091 says here that things are changing. Rookies are seeing the field for the Packers. I hope that's the case, and I hope they we talk about progress stoppers and certain things like that in the organization in the past, and I really do think that this year, because we saw maybe a passing of the torch, like in that, like, one, we're not supposed to draft a wide receiver in the first round, right? We're not supposed to draft multiple wide receivers in the first few rounds, and we did both of those things. I don't think they're going to do that just to not let those guys see the field if they feel that they are more ready, willing, able to go out there and perform. And don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing shade on that wide receiver group, because we all have, like, it's a really unbelievably great, talented wide receiver group, but nobody's taking the step forward to be the guy, right? So all of a sudden, we got two dudes that throw another hat in their mix, and they're like, all right, let's see. To me, honestly, I think the targets is low. I think the catches will be low. I think the yardage will be more over 700. I think underdogs, the thing that we did was 755, I believe. Mm-hmm. I'm correct. It was 4.5 touchdowns, if I remember correctly. So, that to me is right up there. And one thing I will say too is, look at Golden. Like, to me, that's just steady Eddie. The guy is always at least putting in I hate saying average effort, but like, he's always going to show up. He's going, what you're going to get from him. Like, there's very few games where he's even below average. To be fair, not great, as far as being elite in certain games, as far as PFF goes, but PFF is not perfect. So I'm excited, man. I have all the hope right now. So
yeah, in terms of comparing his targets, Tim, to what Watson had 53 targets last year, but Watson was a little banged up, right? Now, he played the large majority of the games. People forget that with Christian. Now, was he fully healthy? That's the question. What do you think about these projected numbers here as we talked about? It looks like the final study here said 620 yards, 5 touchdown season. What do you think about that? As Coach Lynn says, if Golden does that, we got us one.
Yes, sir. I agree with Coach and also with Jacob. And to the point about Scoot, I think Matthew Golden's going to prove to be a really good plan until we get Scoot back, from the knee rehab and everything. So my feelings on Matthew Golden are pretty strong. I mean, what's the most important attribute you can have as a wide receiver? Catch the damn football, right? And Matthew Golden catches the football. He's a hands catcher. The fact that he runs incredibly sharp and condensed routes, doesn't waste a lot of motion, can come out, give you yards after the catch ability. I'm with Jacob. I think he might exceed some of these numbers. I do agree with the AI prediction here, basically, kind of taking a group of analysts and kind of just breaking down what they think the thresholds are. I would agree. I think if he hits these marks, I think we're in great shape. But I'm with Jacob. I think he might exceed some of those marks, especially if he really finds a groove and a role in this offense. Mm-hmm. And it's a good opportunity for a guy like Matthew Golden as a rookie to come into a Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love led offense. Right. I think he's going to get it. He's going to get his touches for sure.
Yeah. Could I just make one more point too? Because like, when you look at your season grades there, obviously those first 2 years in Houston, not bad. 65, 68.4. We love to see that ascension, like you talked about, Clayton. But the fact that he went to Texas after Houston, had almost double the snaps that he'd ever had. Yep. And he succeeded way better. Like a 74 that's a great season.
In the SEC.
That's what I'm saying.
And we still have to remember you guys were talking about this the other night. We have to be a little bit more patient as fans too, when it comes to rookies and how they develop. Like, so even if it takes Matt Golden a few weeks to kind of get his groove or his NFL legs under him, I don't want to see fans throwing him under the bus if he, struggles here or there. That's part of your development, right? It's tough making that jump from the college game to the pro game sometimes. Some guys do it faster than others, and I think we just got to remain patient as fans for sure.
Definitely. All right, up next, the hybrid weapon, Savion Williams. Third rounder Savion Williams is a Swiss Army knife. At TCU in 2024, he had 60 catches for 611 yards and 6 touchdowns, plus 51 rushes for 322 yards and 6 scores. Competing with Reed, Dobbs, Wicks, and Golden, he'll be a mismatch specialist. Expect jet sweeps, screens, and backfield plays from Matt LaFleur. His physicality after the catch complements Golden's speed. When you look at the PFF grades here, once again, you're seeing a player that played his best football down the stretch of the season here. Okay, let's start at the beginning of the season and just give the PFF grades by week: 63, 84, 58, 68, 59, and this is where it gets good: 61, 67, 71, 79, 82, 87, 58. All right. So again, if you want to pick out a game to go watch, he played 33 total snaps in the game against Arizona at home, 87.2. Go pull the tape on that, watch that game. And then you can also bounce back to the on the road at Baylor. He had 42 snaps and finished with a 79.8 grade there as well. So when you look at his season grades, starting in 2020, 58, 60, 58, then he jumps to a 72, then climbs all the way up to a 78. So once again, you're seeing a player who is ascending, entering the league. Absolutely awesome. When you talk about the prediction, Savion Williams 2025 rookie season targets 25 to 40, 15 to 25 catches, receiving yards somewhere between 180 and 350, receiving touchdowns 2 to 4, rushing attempts 10 to 25, rushing yards somewhere between 60 to 150 with 1 to 2 rushing touchdowns. So your total touchdowns looking like somewhere between 3 and 6 total. This versatility will let him outperform typical third-round expectations. Says the verdict: will they surpass expectations for Golden? A 600-yard, 4 to 5 touchdown season is the benchmark for a 23rd pick. Hitting 700 yards and 6 scores would exceed expectations, especially if his speed opens up the field. I say yes if he stays healthy. For Williams, any production in a crowded receiving room is a win. Over 300 total yards and 3 to 4 touchdowns would surpass expectations for a third rounder, proving his value as a versatile weapon. I say yes. Both are poised to beat the hype. What do you guys think about that? Savion Williams' projection there. We'll start with you this time, Tim. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think those numbers reflect the type of player he is, right? You're going to probably see him carrying the football more often than not. So I think 1 to 2 or more rushing touchdowns. Rushing yards comparable to receiving yards. I kind of see that, right? Maybe a little bit more receiving yards than rushing yards, but certainly probably more rushing yards than a few of our other receivers in this offense. Catches. Hopefully he breaks that threshold, and the targets. I'd feel great about that target threshold, right? 25 to 40 in your rookie season. I think that kind of goes to Ed Madden's point about things changing, and hey, put these rookies out there, and let's get them targeted and get them going. Enough of this handling them with kid gloves. So I'm excited about him.
Definitely. Ed Madden says, I can see Williams being great over the middle on crossers and slants. He's got the body to absorb that punishment. But again, got to get that shoulder right. Jacob, what do you think about these projections here, man?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that honestly, like you just said, is the shoulder to me is very scary, because I think the way that Matt LaFleur envisions using a guy like him, I mean, that he's such a Swiss Army knife. Like, that's the perfect description of him. Unfortunately, I know you're not going to like this, Clayton, but I feel like he's going to be the new jet sweep guy, right? He's going to be the new end around guy. He's going to be the guy that Matt LaFleur just loves sending, him running 25 yards to get like 2 yards.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, though. I like his chances of
that's what I'm saying.
A couple arm tackles. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying is I want him to be healthy. I really want him to be the type of player that I honestly do think that I hate using the term gadget guy or whatever. Like, that's not what I want to do. I know Ryan hates that too. Like, you listen to his podcast. He runs great routes. The guy does run great routes. He makes contested catches really well. He catches outside of his body. He's not just a gadget guy. That's not what I'm saying about Savion. I just really do think that Matt LaFleur sees him as being an absolute puzzle piece that he can use in multiple ways.
Yeah. All right. In conclusion here, Golden could hit 700 yards and 6 touchdowns as a deep threat, while Williams might deliver 300-plus all-purpose yards and 3 to 4 scores as a hybrid. These rookies could complete Green Bay's offense. What are your predictions? Drop them below, subscribe, and stay tuned. Go Pack Go. You can find that full article if you want to go back through the numbers, the grades, and everything. It's over on our Patreon group. Just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. It's the best